Hello, Froggy here, and today I'll be showing you how to get into Quarantine Sector 236 with just enough time to chop a tree before you get booted out. We'll be doing an IRB using the Autorez at the end of the arms dealer strike. It is possible to get into Quarantine Sector without a timer, but that requires some difficult setup and a infinite flight. So I'll be showing you this way. At the beginning, you're just going to want to make your way to the dark forest with at least one buddy. The third person could technically start on the strike, but might as well wait for two people for added safety. Thanks to some help from Salvo, I was able to figure out a good IRB spot to go directly into the quarantine sector load. You can also check out the modified Sparrow setup for the infinite fly here if you'd like to see that. The best route to die to the load requires someone with eager edge. But I'll also be showing you the old way, so don't worry if you don't have it. Like me. I'll get it someday. I'm just going to go up out of map here. And I missed the jump. So here's what that should have looked like. Going to jump up here on the left side and then cross over. Nice and easy. Of course, that isn't the only way to do it. So we can just jump up the side here. It's just a little bit slower. You could also sparrow fly up it, of course. So Henry here has already flipped a sparrow that we can use to drop box down, but before we're going to want to drop our light because we're going to need to die in midair. I recommend having mountaintop and lament for later on, since lament is one of the ways you can chop down the trees. Guardian down. Find it easier to set up on the left side for drop box. And you're going to want to wait a little more than 5 seconds for this one. Once you're down, you can sparrow fly to the right. Just line yourself up with the Shard of the Traveler and go rightwards. And once you're sufficiently far out, you can start making your way upwards. Here is where you want to go on the map if you can spare a second screen. Although, if you can't, I'll show you an approximate way to get the same lineup here. Eventually you should see all of these trees and that big rock there. Make your way to this little cornered texture, and we're going to go on to go right about to the middle of this clump of trees here. Then just move backwards a little bit and drop about to the top of those trees, and you'll be good to go. At this point, I'm using my second monitor and a Discord stream of the map to line myself up with that image. Then just shoot your sparrow and set your light back up to avoid any unfortunate accidents. So now we just need to die to the load. And luckily there was a modified version of the one I showed previously with Liar's Launch. Since we don't have that glitch anymore, we can instead use a heavy swing with Eager's Edge. I'm just going to make my way here and set up a sparrow. Bachmanetti is lucky enough to have an Eager's Edge sword. I'm sadly without one still. So he is at a lower light to not destroy my sparrow. And I just need to get the ride prompt here. The ride prompt here. The ride prompt. There we go. Alright. Alright.
Guardian down.
So now he's going to swap to his sword and heavy swing to give it a little launch. And ideally, you will not hit the load here. So to die to it, we're just going to throw stasis onto this branch here and crouch underneath it. And there we go. If no one you know has Autorez, there is still the old way to hit the death to load. It's just a lot more risky because if you don't die to the load, you'll die and you'll need to do the sparrow flight all over again. If you're careful about your sword flying, you won't need to summon a sparrow like I did here. I just did it because I could and I missed the jump height. So we're just going to stasis melee against the wall and that'll do it. While your fire team does the strike, you'll want to swap armor occasionally to not get kicked to orbit. Now we just need to melt the boss before the top of the ramp. Now it is very important that you don't start the boss encounter like Bach just did here until you have already climbed about maybe 2/3 of the way up this chain. That will pre-spawn the boss, giving you more time to damage it.
Watch for air support.
If you don't do that, you're going to have to struggle to kill the boss in time. But luckily, this is just a normal strike and it isn't too difficult. If you get joining allies, you're out of luck. If all goes well, you should spawn into the load for Quarantine Sector.
We did it.
After that, you just need to spot the telephone lines and make your way over there.
They'll have to use regular old weapons.
Follow along the rock until you get to the lower section of the trees blocking you. And the two slanted trees beyond this pair are in fact destructible. And there we go. My run was a little bit scuffed, so you should be able to get there with more than 2 seconds to spare. And hopefully that'll let you chop a tree without having to worry about that infinite flying. Good luck!